What if everything you've been told about death is missing the juiciest part of the story? Imagine a book so mysterious, so old, that its pages claim to map out what happens not just to your body, but to your very consciousness, step by step, after you die. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't some dusty artifact or morbid bedtime tale. It's a manual that sparked controversy, challenged dogmas, and, believe it or not, offers secrets that might just change the way you live, starting today. Let's be honest. Death makes most people uneasy. We chase distractions, build routines, and quietly hope that the big question will take care of itself. But what if facing this mystery head-on could actually hand you the keys to a more fearless, meaningful life? If you've ever wondered whether there's more than darkness at the end, or if you're the kind of person who suspects that the official story isn't the whole truth, you're in the right place. Today, we'll open a book that has both baffled scholars and enlightened seekers for generations. And what you learn here might reward you much sooner than you expect. There's a reason the Bardo Thodol, or Tibetan Book of the Dead, has captured the imagination of seekers for centuries. It's not just a sacred relic locked away in a monastery. This is a living manual, passed down by Padmasambhava, the figure who first brought Buddhism to the wild mountains of Tibet. Imagine holding a map, not of cities and highways, but of the most mysterious journey of all, what happens after our final breath. The text whispers that both the living and the departed can benefit from understanding these secret pathways, suggesting there's far more to existence than meets the eye. And here's what really hooks the curious mind. The Bardo Thodol paints death not as a cold ending, but as a series of powerful, transformative states. A wild adventure in the unknown. Far from grim, it suggests this in-between realm is filled with possibilities, as if someone handed you a key to unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Even now, these teachings invite us to question what we think we know and challenge us to look deeper. The journey begins at the very moment life slips away, in a state known as the Chikai Bardo. When that final exhale leaves the body, the teachings say, consciousness is suddenly free, untethered from all the noise and clutter of daily life. In this first stage, called the Chikai Bardo, one encounters the clear light, a pure, brilliant awareness so overwhelming it makes daylight seem dull. This isn't some far-fetched fantasy. It's described as the original nature of the mind, available to anyone bold enough to recognize it. If a person truly sees this light as their own essence, instant liberation is possible, like waking up from the longest dream. But let's be honest, most of us aren't used to facing ourselves with that kind of clarity. The teachings compare it to staring directly into the sun. Most will turn away or blink, missing the chance to break free. For those who hesitate or don't recognize the light, the adventure doesn't end. It simply shifts into new territory. This is where things become even more mysterious, as the soul is swept into the next Bardo, the Chonyid, where visions, both marvelous and monstrous, await. Now, in the Chonyid Bardo, the mind takes center stage, projecting a kaleidoscope of visions so real, they're impossible to ignore. Some visions are peaceful, filled with dazzling colors and serene beings, while others can be downright terrifying, nightmarish even. Here's the kicker. These aren't outside entities haunting you, but the living movie of your own subconscious, replaying desires, fears, and karma. The teachings gently nudge us to realize that what appears so solid and scary is just the mind's own handiwork. Think about it. Ever woken up from a bad dream and only then realized it was all in your head? The same principle applies here. If the soul recognizes these visions as projections, there's a chance for enlightenment, even in the midst of chaos. But for most, the spectacle is so overwhelming, so convincing, that confusion takes over, pushing the journey forward once again. The next chapter? The Sidpa Bardo, where the seeds of future lives are planted. In the Sidpa Bardo, the story turns from visions to longing, the restless urge to be, to belong, to return. Here, karmic tendencies pull the soul toward a new existence, almost like gravity. Desires, attachments, unfinished business, all these become powerful magnets, drawing consciousness toward another birth. The circumstances of the next life are shaped by what's in the heart and mind at this moment, not by fate or some outside force, but by the echoes of our own choices and actions. Here's where the wisdom gets practical. A person who learns to let go of attachments in life isn't just preparing for a peaceful death, but for a freer future altogether. Small habits, like meditation, reflecting on desires, or even practicing contentment with what one has, can loosen the grip of longing. The journey through the Bardos is a mirror, reflecting back the importance of everyday decisions. And in seeing this, we realize that death, rather than being the enemy, can actually become our greatest teacher, inviting us to change the way we live. Right now, what's truly revolutionary about the Bardo Thodol is its insistence that the wild ride after death is just another adventure in the mind's own theater. Every dazzling vision, every shadowy nightmare, every impulse to cling or run, all are revealed as projections, like shadows on the wall. Recognizing this truth isn't just spiritual poetry, it's a ticket to real freedom. Those who can spot the illusion, even in the most convincing moments, can step off the wheel of endless rebirth and suffering. Now that might sound lofty, but the real genius is in the simplicity. Imagine noticing your thoughts right now, worries, hopes, little regrets, and realizing they come and go like clouds. If that realization becomes second nature, facing the after becomes a bit less intimidating. Practicing awareness, watching thoughts, letting go. A person can start small in everyday life and build the mental habits that pay off when it matters most. This is not just theory for the afterlife. It's a recipe for living well, right here today. And yet, there's still one more layer to this wisdom: how to apply these lessons before the final moment ever arrives. The great secret isn't just how to die, but how to live with open eyes. Spiritual practice, be it meditation, mindful breathing, or simply reflecting on impermanence, becomes the training ground for navigating the Bardos. For example, next time anxiety hits, try pausing for a breath and noticing the thought without grabbing on. The same muscles used for letting go of a grudge or a craving today are the very muscles that will help release attachments when it matters most. This tradition isn't calling for people to abandon joy or become stoics. Rather, it encourages a life lived with less clutching, less fearing, and more curiosity about the mind's wild play. Someone who's learned to recognize their thoughts as passing phenomena, who's comfortable watching them come and go, will face all transitions, big and small, with more grace. And that, perhaps, is the greatest treasure hinted at in this mysterious book. Not a secret for someday, but a tool for a richer, braver, and more meaningful life. All leading us with a wink right back to where we started, curious, open, and ready for whatever comes next. So after hearing all this, what will you do with this knowledge? Are you willing to challenge the old beliefs about death, or will you keep tiptoeing around the question everyone avoids? If you knew the mind was the architect of your reality, even beyond this life, would you start paying closer attention to your thoughts right now? Maybe you're already asking yourself, what attachments could I let go of today? What kind of legacy am I shaping, not just for the world, but for the journeys I have yet to take? If these questions spark something in you, even just a flicker of curiosity, don't let it fade. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel is your invitation to dive deeper, question more, and finally take charge of your own story, both in this life and beyond. Who knows, the next mystery we tackle together might just be the one that changes everything for you.